Welcome to Dateline Schools, a presentation of the St. Clair County Regional Educational Service Agency, with your host, Chris Troy.
It is said that space is the final frontier for mankind, and in order to make that a reality, we are relying on our young STEM students to polish their skills. One program in the Blue Water area is helping to do just that. That is the Challenger Learning Center located at St. Clair County Community College. To tell us all about it is my special guest, Jessica Smith, the Director of Business Services at SC4. Jessica, first of all, let me thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now, how long has the Challenger Learning Center been at SC4, and how did it kind of come about?
So the Challenger Learning Center SC4 is part of an ongoing vision and effort by our SC4 President, Dr. Snyder, and the Board of Trustees to provide a greater experience to exciting and engaging STEM activities. So our Experience Center opened in 2018, and we've been able to build on that ever since in an effort to introduce more learners to STEM topics and careers, as well as to a college campus.
So when you say to a college campus as well, can you kind of explain that a little bit to us?
Absolutely. So part of the missions that we have, they're learning about STEM roles. So for an example, part of the mission would be on a robotic team. Well, we can then talk about how, if they are interested in those careers, then how they can go. So we look at pathways. So we, right on our own SC4 campus, we have our Atchison Technology Center with robotics and mechatronics classes. We have our welding classics, engineering, technology, all that they can kind of see that pathway and how to get there.
Jessica, how many of these learning centers are there in the state of Michigan?
So we are the only learning center in the state of Michigan, and we are one about 40 in the entire world.
How did that come about when you think about all the major universities here in the state? How did SC4 end up being able to host this?
So it was definitely between the leadership of our president, Dr. Snyder, and the Board of Trustees that saw that need within our community and worked with the Challenger Learning Center Foundation out of Washington, D.C., and was able to make that happen.
Explain to me a little bit about that, the Challenger Foundation out of Washington. How did that come about?
So in 1986, where the tragedy that was the Challenger happened, all of the family members got together and then they created the Challenger Foundation. So they wanted a way to tribute to their family that were perished in the accident and to be able to grow and expand upon the STEM careers or STEM learning for the youngsters. So they got together, and then shortly after they created that foundation, the first center opened. And then ever since, it's been continual efforts through their the Challenger Learning Center group that they have wanted to expand upon, and that's why we were lucky enough in April of 2022 to launch the center here at SC4.
So Jessica, who is the average participant in this program? Is this open to just schools in the area, or who's coming to SC4 to partake in the Challenger Learning Center?
So the Challenger Learning Center SC4 is open to learners in third grade and beyond. So that includes the students, we have educators, businesses, corporations, and also community members. And it's an incredible experience for all of Michigan and Ontario residents.
So not just students, but community members too. Organizations can get a hold of you. And is this like almost like a team building thing can be used? Or explain a little bit of that to me.
Absolutely. So we have had several professional development opportunities where we just had Anchor Bay. So in August, they came through with all of their administration and participated, I should say, in a mission. And we got to see them working together outside of their normal setting. So, and I always say the adults seem to get more into it than the kids. They come with their pads of paper and their pencils, and they're ready to participate in that engaging experience. And we also do so with corporate training. So, and we have a space right there in their experience center. So if they need to do their own kind of their meeting or whatnot, then they'll be able to expand upon that, but then also work down in the Challenger and get elbow deep in some STEM programming.
So it's almost like a STEM escape room for some groups.
Absolutely.
If there's an organization that is thinking, how can I get my people maybe more in tune together or something? Why do you think the Challenger program would be a good program for them to do that?
Absolutely. So I believe that being outside of the normal day-to-day, I think it puts them in a different perspective. And then in this role, they are kind of working together collaboratively to come up with a successful mission in the end. So we do have two different missions that we are currently running that are very separate experiences that they'll put themselves into different roles. So we have 9 roles. So we have a communications officer, we have a ROV team that help to build and deploy a rover, navigation, so they are having to land on the location wherever that may be, and so they're working together to fulfill their own separate tasks, but then have to work interchangeably with the team next door to be able to have that successful mission. So it kind of helps to create that camaraderie and then partnership.
You mentioned succeeding on a goal. Has this program met the hopes and goals that you guys set when you initially brought this to SC4?
Absolutely. So like I'd mentioned, our goal was to provide a fun and immersive experience for learners of all ages. So that might see themselves either studying or learning more about STEM in the future. So we know many people are often interested in STEM topics, but they lose their confidence or interest through the years, and possibly they might not have enough experiences under their belt. So Challenger Learning Center SC4 introduces learners of all ages and all kinds to STEM topics and careers, and then we hope to spark a passion and interest in STEM.
If I come back to the Learning Center, will I be looking at the same experience, or is there a new challenge?
So we have different experiences. So we have currently 2 missions. As I mentioned, we have the Lunar Quest and we have Operation Comet. So they're targeted at 2 different age groups, but the experiences are completely different. And then even we see that groups maybe that come in and they're looking at doing the same, say, Lunar Quest, 2 missions back to back. Those students that may be in one role, so maybe they're on the communications team in one mission, and then in the next team they're in the weather team. It's a completely different experience for them. They're doing different tasks. They're having a different set of labs and activities that they're participating in.
Education has changed over the years, obviously, and this is really more of a hands-on type development for students. Do you see them being more engaged, and why do you think that is?
So those students that coming in, they are getting, and I like to say elbow deep, they're putting themselves in that position of whatever role they're given. We have them fully engaged, so they are taking on those tasks, and then our flight directors do a great job of creating that urgency. So it's doing something outside of the classroom that they can participate in. They're learning something that maybe might spark their interest in the future. But then the great thing that we're seeing are that the teachers and educators that are with them, that are accompanying them through the trip, get to see those students in a different light. For example, we just had a field trip yesterday where the teacher was able to talk to one of our flight directors and mention that it was interesting to see the student because he has not talked, or he has not put himself out there in that way since December. So it's been a way for those teachers to be able to see that student in a different light, kind of see them spark passion, create an interest, and then also their colleagues, right, their fellow classmates get to see them in that experience as well. It's pretty heartwarming.
So I recently saw a press release that some changes had been occurring in the Learning Center. Can you tell me about those?
Absolutely. So to start off, though, we've initially started with our Experience Center. It opened in 2018, and then since then we've expanded upon our Challenger Learning Center. So then with that, we have 2 incredible missions. So the first mission that we have running that we had started since launch was Lunar Quest, which is designed at 7th grade learning, so it's academic standards, and then we're able to scale that downwards to 5th grade. But with the addition of Operation Comet that we started launching in January of this year, we are able to now scale down to 3rd grade. So that opens the door for those elementary schools to get in and to be able to tackle some hands-on STEM programming right there at our Challenger Center.
How long is an average experience?
A typical mission will take about 2.5 hours, and that we can accommodate anywhere between 18 and 34 learners at a time. For students or field trip groups that are looking to bring in maybe more than 34, we can accommodate up to 68 in a single day by incorporating a full day STEM experience. So that would be half of the students would participate in the Challenger Learning Center, half of them would be up in our Experience Centers, so doing some great hands-on STEM programs programming, and then swap and have lunch right there on a college campus. So we have an opportunity to do fully immersive day with getting their hands wet, because we do our bouncy ball labs. So that's something they can do some great chemistry experiments, go through our natural science museum, learn about health sciences, and then learn about, we have a live sturgeon on campus. So we're kind of checking all those boxes.
So you mentioned the comic experience is down to third graders. With each program, are some more complex than others?
So the Lunar Quest, that's one right now a little more complex, and I say so in just more of an academic standard, right? So there's levels that they need to be aware of. So we have a community mission that we've had now probably 4 throughout the year, and we have one scheduled for February 18th. And we do see parents and siblings bringing in their younger family members so they can participate with those students.
Who creates these experiences?
The developed programming is through the Challenger Learning Center. They develop that for us. So right now we have the Comet, and then we have Lunar Quest. They are right now in the middle of developing Earth Odyssey, which is designed at 10th grade level. So we're going to be able to see that hopefully in, I think it's the summer of 2024, that will launch for us to be able to start running. And then there's also a Destination Mars mission that we will be getting that is at 2nd grade standard. So we're very excited to be able to offer a variety of missions that will touch on different learners at all ages, but then also getting different experiences so they keep coming back.
So Jessica, what kind of feedback have you received from those who participated, and what would someone have to do if they wanted to partake in this? How do they sign up?
We have welcomed over 2,500 visitors to the Challenger Learning Center and Experience Center since our launch in April of 2022. So we've had students, we've had educators, administrators, businesses, and community residents visit the center, and we've received amazing reactions. So they're very interested in the missions that we're currently running, and then they can sign up. Most of them sign up right before they leave. So they want to make sure they hold their spot for the next school year. So you can sign up for a mission by contacting us at our Challenger website at challenger.sc4.edu, calling us at 810-989-5789, or emailing at experiencecenter@sc4.edu. For community missions that we have currently one on the books, so starting on Saturday, February 18th, we have a mission scheduled. And you can view that by going onto our website and sign up. And those are for people who might not have enough to accommodate a full mission on their own. So if they have maybe less than 18 people, they still want to experience that space-themed experience. So they're able to sign up either by themselves or maybe with a family member or a friend to be able to participate in the mission together.
So from what I remember, each one of the experiences, you had your mission control and then you had your astronauts. How is that determined? Is that something the school figures out they want to do, or do the students just say, hey, I'd like to do this?
Groups have done it in different ways. So we have a crew manifest that needs to be completed beforehand. So for teachers, they will look at what interests their students. So some of the roles have a more math focus, some have more engineering focus, so those teachers know their students. For the community missions, we do offer a drop down in our registration form where they kind of learn a little bit about the different roles and maybe what might interest them.
If a mission exceeds the 2.5 hour period kind of a thing because of maybe difficulty, how does Challenger kind of deal with that situation? Or is it kind of you were really close and this is what maybe happened?
So our flight directors do an amazing job of keeping the mission on task. So we internally we have quite a few landmarks that we try to hit. There's a mid-brief that we go back through and have that conversation of if there was something that went wrong or what happened that we can expand upon and improve, and then we'll go back in and try to complete that mission. So I'm happy to say that we have never went above our timeline. We always keep to the 2.5 hours max, and that will include that briefing. So they're learning about their mission, they're participating in their mission, and then they're having a debrief at the end to kind of talk about what went right, what went wrong, what kind of roles that they enjoyed, and how it all ties back to SC4 programming.
Well, education has certainly got exciting for kids nowadays, and I appreciate so much you coming in and talking to us about this. For Dateline Schools, I'm Chris Troy. Dateline Schools is a presentation of St. Clair County RESA.